Thanks for joining me for another real world mile per gallon test. This time we have the 2024 Kia Sportage Hybrid. It's all-wheel drive, and this is the SX Prestige. Now we are supposed to average 38 in the city, 38 on the highway, and 38 overall. But it's also 30 degrees out here, so this is going to be more of a winter mile per gallon test, so don't expect us to hit that 38 number, but this will give you an idea of what you're going to get during the winter. If you own one of these, put it down in the comments what your mile per gallon that you are averaging overall and maybe what you get during the summer. Maybe it's better than 38. Anyway, let's take a quick look at this and then we'll head to the gas station, get filled up, and get this test started. Okay, so just in case you're wondering, this is Shadow Matte Gray is what Kia calls it. Looks really nice. I do like the design. I like the front, the headlights and all, and the grille area. I think that looks really, really sharp. I like the way that this is all grayed out. Even the wheels are gray. I think this just looks really, really good. Okay, let's take a look at the cargo space. All right, a good amount of cargo space in here. You do have some power back here also, and you've got handles to drop that second row. That is good. Let's go look down here, see what's underneath here, and we do have a spare tire. So cool, way to go Kia. I like you have a spare tire there. Back seats. All right, look at that color. The funny thing is it says that it's black on the interior on the window sticker, but this is obviously not black. So I would call this kind of a terracotta color, not quite as orange as some other ones, kind of got a little bit more clay red in here, but looks really good. Looks like there's a decent amount of space in here. And we'll pop up to the front. I have the key in my pocket, that's why we're squealing, but you guys can see that all looks good up here also. Let me know what you guys think about this interior color. There is the dash, and that's it. Okay, that's a little bit about the 2024 Kia Sportage Hybrid SX Prestige. If you want to see the full review, it is up on the channel right now. You can go watch that as soon as this is over, and I'll have it linked at the end. But let's get to the gas station because it is really cold out here. The wind is picking up. We're going to have a fun drive today, so let's get at it. Okay, we're at the gas station, and the wind is really picking up. And so we're gonna have probably a push at the beginning of this, but we are also going to have a headwind on the way back. So this test is, like I said, this is gonna be cold weather, kind of what to expect in the middle of the winter, kind of mile per gallon. So we're gonna take a look, and there is no recommendations or requirements for gas, so we will be putting in 87. In case you're wondering, here in Illinois, we are at 474 for 91, 384 for 89, and just over $3 for 87. All right, woo, it's getting cold. We're choosing 87.
Cold for the time filling as well.
All right, there we go. We are filled up. 4.4 gallons started it off. All right, let's get back in the car because it is cold. Okay, so here is our temperature today, 30 degrees. You can see it says feels like 17. The wind is really howling right now. All right, so we're gonna get this reset. So right now, this is the accumulated info. So we're gonna hold this down, reset that one. We also, since refueling, this will reset when we start to drive. All right, and then we also have drive info, so they will all be the same. As you saw, it is 30 degrees outside with a wind chill of 17. So this is definitely a cold weather mile per gallon test, as I said earlier. Supposed to average 38, don't expect 38 today. We have the sister car to this, the Hyundai Tucson Hybrid, and it supposed to average 37. we get between 35 to 38 in the summer and about 28 to 30 during the winter. So kind of expect more to see 28 to 30 today. Like I said, if you guys own this vehicle, put down in the comments what your mile per gallon is that you're averaging or what you usually get in the summer. It might be helpful to others. Okay, so we're going to be heading to our first town, and on the way I'll give you parameters of this test and then I'll update you when we get there. We have 3 settings that we set the car up for, and one of them is we drive in normal mode. Whatever the normal mode for the car is, that's the way we drive this, because we're not trying to maximize or minimize the mile per gallon. So the actual default for this car is Eco, and then there is Sport, and then it has Snow, and then you have all-wheel drive that you can turn on all the time all-wheel drive. This doesn't have a technical normal mode, so its normal mode is Eco. So that's what we're running in, is Eco on this one. Temperature inside the cabin is set between 68 and 72 degrees. Right now we are set at 70 degrees. As I mentioned earlier, it is 30 degrees outside with a 17-degree wind chill. We got winds blowing at about 15 miles per hour right now, and it could pick up a little heavier a little later. So definitely cold weather testing today. And then the last thing that's set up on the car is we will be driving 5 miles per hour over the speed limit, because that is the average of what most people drive over the speed limit. So that's how we're going to drive. So we will be 60 on the highway, between 35 and 50 in town, and 75 out on the interstate. Now for the test itself. We drive 100 miles, we drive 50 miles in one direction, we turn around and drive 50 miles in the exact opposite direction. The reason we do that is to negate any weather conditions like we have today or terrain. So that way every car is done the same way and starts with the same baseline. On both the first and second part of the trip, we will be driving through 2 towns. We will drive loops through those towns, hitting stop signs, stop lights, a little bit of traffic, so that way we can get a little bit of real world driving in. And then we'll hop up onto the interstate. We'll drive about 10 to 12 miles up on the interstate. At that point we should be at about 50 miles, and we'll turn around and come back and do everything in the opposite direction. Then we'll get back to the gas station. We'll get back there, we will pull out the calculator, we will look at our numbers, we'll calculate what our real world mile per gallon is versus what EPA says and what the car itself says, and then you'll have your results. Very simple. All right, we're heading into town now, and I'm going to give you guys an update on where we're at. We've entered our first town, and so far 4.3 miles, 27.1 miles per gallon. Yeah, here is a flag. You can kind of see the wind blowing that flag around. Yeah, a little windy today, a little cold today. We're going to make a loop through this town, and then I will update you again before we head back out onto the highway. We made the loop through town, and now we're back out onto the highway. And so far, we have 8.2 miles, 31.5 miles per gallon. And now we are headed to our next town. On the way, I'll give you a little bit more information about this Sportage hybrid in case you are interested. And then I will update you when we get ready to enter our next town. This one has the same 1.6 liter turbo inline 4 with a single electric drive motor. We're getting 227 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. You get a 6-speed automatic, which I think is nice because a lot of times you're getting CVTs, especially in hybrids. I'm glad to see that this has the 6-speed transmission, and our Hyundai Tucson also has the same. And you get a 0 to 60 in about 7.2 seconds, which is respectable. It's not bad by any means. Fuel economy we actually talked about was 38 in the city, 38 on the highway for an average of 38. Now those are in optimal conditions. it's not going to be in conditions that we are in now at 31 degrees with a 17-degree wind chill and 15-mile-an-hour wind. Now, the ride in here is very comfortable. The wind is kind of pushing this around, and if you've been noticing that I haven't been touching the steering wheel because this has lane centering, and the highway driver assist with the Kias and the Hyundais are one of my favorite because there's no eye tracker, and I've been driving without my hands on the wheel this whole entire time, and it's never told me to put my hands on the wheel, which is kind of nice. We really enjoy it, so don't change that. When we get up on the interstate, it will engage the highway driver assist, and then it will also do automatic lane changes, and we'll try to touch on that a little bit later. The seats are comfortable. They felt a little stiff, a little hard at first, but my wife said that she likes these leather seats because they feel like an old school leather material where it's kind of a stiffer material that you feel like it's going to last for a really long time. I like the color. It's kind of in between a dark red and a terracotta, so we're kind of, in between, like a red clay, I guess you'd want to call it. So I'm kind of in between with that, but I do like the contrast of the color with this and the black. I think it looks really nice. And having a panoramic roof really opens it up in here, makes it feel brighter and a little bigger than what it seems. Now, this does actually feel to me a little bit bigger in here than the Tucson. I think it's because this has the newer screens and everything, a little bit different dash setup than what the Tucson has. So I don't feel quite as narrow or compact into my driving area. We're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna touch on some pricing because this is the hybrid, and there's different pricing for the hybrid and the regular Sportage. The regular Sportage is going to be starting out a little bit cheaper because you don't have to have a small little battery in there. So you're going to get a little bit cheaper there, but you're not going to get as much horsepower, and you're also not going to get as much gas mileage. So it might be worth it to pay the little extra to go up to the hybrid. But we'll start with the hybrid base model, which is the LX, and it's going to start out at $28,590. If you move up to the EX, you get a few other amenities in here and some other options that kind of make it stand out a little bit more, and you're going to go to $32,390 to start. Now, this Prestige that we're driving today, it starts out at $37,590. So you got a pretty good jump going from the base at 28 to this Prestige at 37. Now this thing is pretty well fully loaded. One option was the exterior paint for about $600. You get the shadow matte gray paint. As tested with all the options that this one has and the delivery fee, you're looking at $39,730. So you're still under $40,000, and you have a nice, smallish, mid-size crossover SUV that will work for most families. We are getting ready to head into our next town, so I'm going to give you an update on where we're at. We've entered our second town, and so far we're at 29.1 miles and 34.1 miles per gallon, so we're doing really well there. Of course, it is not the 38, and like I said, we will not get to that 38 today, not with these weather conditions. That is more of a summer type mile per gallon. Maybe we'll get another one of these in the summer or a 25 next summer, and we will maybe do a little comparison of that. Okay, so we're going to make a loop through this town, and then I'm going to give you an update before we get up on the interstate. Made the loop through town, and we're going to be coming up on our entrance to the interstate. So far, 35.7 miles and 34.8 miles per gallon. So It's actually doing a little better than I thought. I thought we were going to be somewhere around 28, but this is actually doing really well for the conditions that we're in. But we're getting ready to get up on the interstate where we're going to be driving at 75 and probably into some wind. So we'll probably see that drop quite a bit here over the next, this Interstate Drive anyway. All right, we're coming around. Once we get straightened out here, we'll accelerate onto the interstate so you guys kind of hear how this sounds under, a good amount of throttle. All right, coming around. Get straightened out. We're gonna accelerate. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Yeah, it actually sounds pretty smooth. Sounded really good. Okay, so now we are 36.7 miles and 34 miles per gallon. You can see up at the top, we've got the highway driver assist is engaged. Now we're going to find out whether this one has the lane change assist. So we're going to try that right now. With the lane change assist, all we do is we push it down to hit your 3 flash, get over, or 5 flash, whatever you have it set, but not turn it completely on. So we'll do that. And let's see, does this have it? No, this does not have lane change assist. So this just has the regular highway driver assist, and it does really well. We use this quite often in our own vehicle. So, all right, we're just going to cruise here on the interstate for about 10 more miles or so. Should be about 50-mile marker, and we'll turn around. So I'll give you an update when we get ready to get off the interstate and make our turnaround. All right, we are coming up on our exit. We're going to turn around up here and come back down on the other side of the interstate. Right now, we're at 49.3 miles and 30.2 miles per gallon. Yeah, it did really give us a rough time against the against the wind here. We were probably averaging around maybe 22, 23 miles per gallon up here on the interstate, kind of going into this crosswind. But we're going to turn around here, come down the other side, and maybe it'll be enough of an angle from this wind that we get a push to make up for that. Kind of busy on this Friday morning. Temperature has gone up to 34 degrees, if you see down in the corner, according to the car. But the wind is just as bad, if not worse. Okay, we are heading back down the other side. Road's a little wet. We got a little bit of snow last night. Obviously, it didn't stick around very long. There wasn't a lot, but got a little sprinkling last night. All right, we get straightened out here. We'll accelerate onto the interstate, and we're going to be able to hear the engine again, but with all this wind noise, hard to say whether you'll be able to hear it, but here we go. Yeah, I think it sounds okay. It's not overly loud. It sounds pretty smooth, so yeah, I'm impressed by that. It did a good job with this 4-cylinder. All right, we are looking at 50.9 miles, 29.8 miles per gallon. Okay, we're going to be on this stretch for about 12 miles, and then we'll be getting off the interstate and going back into town. So I will update you when we get there. Okay, we're getting ready to get off of the interstate now and head back into town. We are at 63.3 miles and 29 miles per gallon. So that's about where I was suggesting we were going to be, somewhere between 28 and 30. But we are going back into town, and we're not going to be driving at 75 anymore. So we may see that climb back up. I don't think it's going to reach the point of 35 miles per gallon like we were seeing earlier, but we could see it get up over 30. But anyway, we're gonna make a loop through this town, and I will update you as soon as the loop is over and we head back out onto the highway. Made the loop through town, we're back out onto the highway. So far, 71.9 miles, 29.7 miles per gallon. So we did creep back up. We're getting close to that 30 mark. We'll have to see if we're going to get that, but I got a feeling we're driving into the wind a little bit now. So we are probably going to lose some more out on the highway. I doubt that we're going to actually hit 30. We're going to probably be in the high 28s to 29. But I will update you when we get to our next town. Right. We've entered town now, and we are 92.4 miles and 29.5 miles per gallon. Got a feeling we're going to settle right in there, probably about 29 and a half. We may gain a little bit here in town, but probably not much. And then we got a highway drive back to the gas station. So we're going to make a loop through this town, and then I will update you again after the loop and we head back out on the highway. All right, we made our loop through town. We're back out on the highway, headed to the gas station, and we have 96.2 miles, 29.7 miles per gallon. All right, doing really well. We might hold at that 29.7, but I think it's going to be about 29.5. So way better than, well, I guess it was kind of fell in where I was talking about earlier, to 28 to 30, but I thought it wouldn't be quite as close to 30 as it's going to be. I will give you the final numbers when we reach the gas station. Okay, we're arriving back at our gas station where we started our test at. All right, we're gonna cruise in here. Looks like we can get the exact same pump that we had previously at the start of this test. It's what we always try to do. All right, let's pull around here. Pull up. Okay, final results. Look at that, 99.9. I wonder how much farther I have to roll to make it go 100. Can I roll forward and backwards to make it 100? So 99.9 miles is what we're going with, and 29.8 miles per gallon. Wow, it actually gained just a tad on the way here. We're in our winter months. We have additives in the gasoline. We know that that affects miles per gallon. So this is your cold weather mile per gallon test, basically. All right, let's get filled up and then run some numbers. Okay, we had a pretty good test. Now we're gonna get filled up and we're gonna run our numbers. So right now, we don't have any restrictions or recommendations on gas, same as we started with, so we put an 87 in. 87. In there, let's go. Okay, there we are, 3.43 gallons. That's what we're gonna be dividing by. So, all right. Let's get tightened back up and get back inside because it is cold. All right, cold weather mile per gallon test today. So, let's run our numbers. 99.9 miles. We're dividing that by 3.43, 3.43. There we go. That gives us 29.1. So your 2024 Kia Sportage hybrid all-wheel drive, cold weather real world mile per gallon, average is 29.1. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. If you like this video, pound that thumbs up button so it can spread out to more people who might enjoy these tests and these types of videos. Then click on the video that's up on the screen. One is a review of this Kia Sportage Hybrid. The other one, YouTube thinks you're gonna enjoy. I think you're gonna like them both. So you have a blessed day, and I will hopefully see you in the next one.